Imagine you are sitting in front of me right now, perhaps feeling a little weary, your bank account empty, and that inner voice telling you that you are behind. Perhaps you look back and see debts, wrong choices, missed opportunities. Maybe you feel like you missed the boat, that it's too late. But let me start this conversation with a truth that is worth more than gold. It doesn't matter where you are, but where you decide to go from here. Because I also started from nothing. A young, unknown man from a simple family who learned to count coins with discipline and look at every penny as the seed of an empire. Do you want to know how to earn your first million, even if you're broke, behind, or lost? Then listen carefully. This isn't a video about easy tricks or magic formulas. This is straight-up mentoring. It's the strategy of someone who built empires from the cold ground of reality. And if you stick with me until the end, I promise you, won't leave the same. Your mind will change. Your discipline will awaken. And your life, if you apply yourself with courage, will be completely transformed. But first, let me tell you something simple. In 1855, I was only 16 when I started my first job as an accounting assistant. I earned 50 cents a day, but I saved every penny. I recorded every income and expense in my notebook, because, even back then, I understood that whoever controls their pennies today is planting the millions of tomorrow. Most people want to make money, but they live as if money were the enemy. They run away from numbers. They ignore their budget. They live by their emotions. But not you. If you're listening to me now, it's because you feel it's time to turn this game around. And I'm going to show you exactly how. First, eliminate what weakens you. Emotional instability is the greatest enemy of wealth. People who sabotage themselves, spending money to numb their frustrations, seeking immediate pleasure to ease the weight of failure. But listen carefully. You were not meant to live in scarcity. You were made to master chaos, transform pain into discipline, and build your wealth on the rock of consistency. Even if you're broke, you still have something more valuable than money: time and attention. And what you do with it determines your financial destiny. Instead of asking, "How much can I earn this month?" ask yourself, "How much can I learn, build, and control this month?" Focus. That's the key. When I started investing in the oil industry, I didn't try to do everything at once. I chose to master each step of the process: transportation, refining, distribution. I became an expert, because lasting wealth requires depth, not breadth. You may be in a job you hate right now, with mounting debt, not knowing where to start. So start with your mind. Start with your routine. Start with your silent decisions. The first victory is internal, the first wealth is behavioral. The discipline of waking up early even when you don't have a boss. The choice to study finance when everyone around you is watching distractions. The decision to save $1 even when it seems insignificant. And, speaking of that, let me give you some practical advice. Start today to record all your money. Do what I did when I was 16. Create a notebook or spreadsheet and write down every penny that comes in and goes out. You'll be surprised at how powerful this is. Because what you measure, you control. And what you control grows. Now, I need to tell you something that may hurt, but it will set you free. No one is coming to rescue you. Don't wait for inheritances. Don't wait for miracles. Your million won't come from luck, but from vision, work, and determination. The money you want so badly is in the skills you haven't developed yet, in the consistency you haven't practiced yet, in the strategy you haven't executed with discipline yet. Do you really want to start broke? Then start by serving. Yes, serve. Learn to solve problems. Make yourself useful in the market. Every million starts by solving other people's problems with excellence. Think about what problem you can solve today. It can be small. It can be a service. It can be something that many people ignore. But if you solve it consistently, the money will start to flow. And when that money comes, don't make the mistake most people make. Don't increase your consumption. Increase your investment. Pay yourself first. Save, reinvest. That's what I did. Every dollar that came in was a tool, a lever. I didn't spend to prove my worth. I built value quietly. You may be feeling behind. I understand, but let me tell you, the time you have left is more than enough if you stop wasting energy on comparison and start building with discipline. If you give me your full attention, I'll give you something more valuable than $1 million right now. The mindset that generates millions continuously. But first, answer me honestly. Are you ready to stop living as a victim and start operating as the architect of your wealth? If so, just write in the comments, "I decide to prosper." Because this statement is not for me. It is for you too. Take charge of your journey now. You have already decided to plant your empire. Now you need to understand the soil where it will grow. And that soil is called your emotional control, your discipline, and your execution structure. Without it, every plan falls apart. With it, even the headwinds blow in your favor. Listen carefully. The first $1 million doesn't come from talent, luck, or connections. It comes from your ability to maintain a solid strategy on good days and bad days. And that consistency is only possible when you master yourself. I learned early on that the business world is not for the impulsive. It is not for those who act based on anger, envy, or euphoria. It is for those who know how to take a deep breath, observe the scene, weigh the data, and decide with clarity. Emotion destroys more fortunes than lack of opportunity. You may have little money now, but if you have emotional control, you are already ahead of many who have a lot of capital but no self-control. Because money amplifies who you are. It accelerates the destiny of those who know how to use it, but destroys those who are not yet prepared to carry it. Controlling your emotions means not acting on impulse, not spending out of need, not complaining out of habit. It means taking full responsibility for every result you reap, even the ones that hurt. Failure, when properly absorbed, is the most effective mentor. Pain, when accepted as a teacher, shapes the muscles of your character. Now, I ask you, how do you react when you are frustrated, when a plan doesn't work out, when money doesn't come in as expected? These moments are the true test of who is ready to grow. Because anyone can be disciplined when everything is going well. But empire builders are forged in chaos, and that is why I invite you now to adopt a new code of conduct. A set of laws that will govern your mind and your actions. First, you don't react to the world, you act based on principles. You don't act because you're motivated, you act because you've decided to. You don't act because it's convenient, you act because it's necessary. Second, you honor your word, even when no one is looking. Your private discipline defines your public wealth. What you do behind closed doors, in silence, will be what the market rewards or ignores out there. Third, you control your time as if it were money, because it is. Every minute spent on distraction is $1 lost in potential. Every hour without purpose is a week further away from your freedom. Fourth, you protect your energy like you would a safe. Negative people, toxic news, pointless conversations, all of these things drain your mental strength. And if your mind is weak, your empire will never grow strong. These principles aren't romantic, they're technical, they're strategic. Because money doesn't flow to those who want to appear prosperous. It flows to those who are reliable, to those who generate value, to those who act consistently. And here comes another point that few understand. The difference between working for money and building systems that produce money. While most people work just to pay the bills, the true builder thinks, how can I create something that generates returns even when I'm asleep? That's how I built the largest company on the planet. Not with brute force, but with systems, processes, reinvestment, and control. Learn this: money is not the end, it is the means. The end is freedom, it is security, it is impact, it is being able to help your children, your grandchildren, your community, and do so without fear of tomorrow. But to get there, you must first prove that you are a good manager of the little you have. The first $1 million only comes to those who have learned to multiply $100, then 1,000, then 10,000. And that requires invisible discipline. Yes, invisible. Because no one will applaud you for turning down an expensive dinner to invest that amount. No one will reward you for getting up early and studying while everyone else sleeps. But I guarantee you, the results will come. They always do. Now listen to this. Your environment is shaping your bank account. If you live surrounded by people who mock plans, who live for appearances, who think it's normal to always be in debt, you will be sucked into that atmosphere. And when that happens, your mind begins to accept mediocrity as normal. You start to get used to having little, to almost, to at least, but you weren't created to live on scraps. You were created to rule territories, to leave a mark. And that starts with changing your environment. It can be physically, it can be virtually. But you need to surround yourself with greater references, with living examples that it is possible to prosper with ethics, with purpose, and with excellence. Read books. Listen to great minds. Cut ties that drain you. Connect with those who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Because the energy of these connections will fuel your journey. And remember, nothing happens by chance. Everything is your responsibility. If you are stuck, it is because you are not yet doing what is necessary. If you are lost, it is because you have not yet mapped out your path. If you are afraid, it is because you do not yet have enough knowledge. So, your plan now is simple. Become valuable. More valuable than you are today. In knowledge, in attitude, in problem-solving skills. Because the market doesn't reward those who try hard, it rewards those who get things done, those who deliver, those who transform. Do you want your first million? Then become the person others would pay well to have around. Become the person who gets results, who inspires, who delivers on their promises. And the money will inevitably follow. To do this, you need to execute with intensity. Wake up early, plan your week, monitor your spending, study every day, eliminate bad habits, reinvest your profits. Start small, but think big. You are creating something that will last. And, for that, everything matters. What you eat, what you listen to, what you say. Because your mind is the factory of your destiny, and it will only produce wealth if it is well fed. Now tell me, are you willing to do what most people don't do, to live what most people will never live? If so, comment below. I become more valuable every day. Because that decision, when repeated and fulfilled, transforms any trajectory. Excellent. Now that you've made the decision to become more valuable every day, let's go even deeper into building your first million. What comes next is the territory where most people fail, not because of a lack of ability, but because of a lack of clear vision, consistent execution, and smart leverage. When I talk about vision, I'm not talking about daydreaming, sticking pictures on boards, or repeating empty phrases. I'm talking about practical strategy. Knowing exactly what you want to build, why you want to build it, and what your daily plan is to get there. Vision without execution is delusion. Execution without vision is wasteful. But when you combine the two, clarity about where you want to go with the discipline to get there every day, success becomes only a matter of time. And that's what this blog is all about. How to turn your actions into a capital building machine. Even if you're starting from scratch. Even if the world around you still doubts you. Because, as I have always believed, fate smiles on those who have clarity, patience, and persistence. It all starts with a simple question. What is your capital generator? In other words, what do you do or can you start doing today that has market value and can be scaled? Most people live waiting for the big idea, but true builders start with what's in front of them. When I started my oil refining business, it wasn't the most glamorous industry. It wasn't where the spotlight was. But I saw efficiency where others saw only dirty work. I saw margin control, scale, distribution dominance. And that's where my fortune began to take shape. You don't need a brilliant idea. You need brilliant execution. You need to master a micro-niche, offer something with excellence, and repeat it on an increasing scale. It can be a simple service, a digital product, a content channel, a support service. What matters is the consistency with which you deliver, improve, and expand. And here comes a crucial principle. The first phase of your first million requires intensity. The second phase requires intelligence. When you're still in survival mode, you need to put in maximum energy, total time, and absolute dedication. There is no balance in the beginning. There is focus, there is sacrifice. This is the phase where you'll sleep less, give up weekends, and work when no one is looking. It's not forever, but it's long enough to build the foundation. Because only after you have a validated model, a customer base, and cash flow can you start thinking about scaling intelligently. And scaling means creating systems that work for you, automating what is repetitive, delegating what does not require your brainpower, standardizing what generates returns. This transition is where many go wrong. They either settle for what they have already achieved, or they expand too soon and fail. You need to know the numbers. Every number, what your fixed costs are, how much you need to sell per day to stay in the black, what your average ticket is, what your conversion cycle is. Without this numerical vision, you will always be at the mercy of luck. And luck is the opposite of strategy. And here's another point that few people talk about. You need to be your own investor. Stop waiting for angels, contributions, banks. Your profit is your growth capital. Reinvest, buy better tools, learn new skills, hire support, multiply what works. That's exactly what I did. I took every dollar of profit and put it back into the business. We expanded refineries. We optimized transportation. We bought competitors. Not because I wanted to grow fast, but because I wanted to consolidate. And consolidation is the key to securing your position in the market. But none of that works if you don't have one thing, a clear intention to make an impact. The market is saturated with people who want to make money. But there is unlimited space for those who solve problems with excellence and integrity. When you deliver something that changes people's lives, they don't just pay, they refer you, they defend you, they stay. Your name, your brand, your word need to be valuable assets, and that is built with consistency. You promise, you deliver. You say you do. You make a mistake, you correct it. You learn, you apply it. That attitude builds reputations. And reputations build millions. Now, let me touch on a sensitive point. Perhaps you are still surrounded by debt, with a bad credit rating and overdue obligations. Perhaps you think you can only really start when you have got everything in order. But I say to you, start now. From where you are, with what you have in your hands. Organize as you go. Progress as you tidy up. Correct as you move forward. Don't wait for the ideal scenario. It will never come. The ideal time is the one you decide to turn into fertile ground. The money will come as your maturity increases, as your commitment improves, as your mindset solidifies. And speaking of mindset, here's a definitive reminder. You're not just fighting for money, you're fighting for freedom, for peace, for legacy. And that means that even when fatigue sets in, when fear screams, when results are slow to come, you stay. Because those who build empires don't act on emotion, they act on conviction. Those who build empires don't need an audience. They need direction. Those who build empires don't negotiate with laziness. They execute with determination. And you are ready for that. If you've made it this far, it's because your soul is mature enough to lead. And leadership starts with yourself. By leading your thoughts, your habits, your actions. By winning one day at a time. Now tell me firmly, are you ready to become your greatest asset? Comment below. I am my main source of wealth, because when you accept that, nothing can stop you. Now that you understand that the greatest source of wealth is within you, let's talk about something that makes the difference between those who truly prosper and those who just survive trying. Strategic patience and long-term vision. We live in an age where impatience is the norm. The culture of the immediate, of I want it now, of quick success. But solid, lasting wealth is not built by those who chase after flash in the pan. It is forged by those who know how to wait, by those who understand that true power lies in mastering time, not being mastered by it. Do you want your first million? Then embrace intentional slowness, that silent and constant process where every action is taken with purpose. Every investment is designed to multiply, and every challenge is seen as a learning opportunity. I have seen countless businesses explode because of haste and lack of preparation, but I have seen empires grow because their leaders understood that gold is not in the flash of discovery, but in continuous and consistent work. Strategic patience does not mean passivity. It means acting every day with discipline, even when results are not immediately apparent. It means planting the seed, watering it, and caring for it even when the field still seems dry. The biggest difference between the rich and the poor is that the rich keep going, while the poor give up. During the construction of Standard Oil, I faced crises, boycotts, powerful enemies, and countless moments when everything seemed to be falling apart. But I didn't back down. I believed in my model, in my team, and in the future I was building. Each difficulty was just a phase in the process, not the end of the journey. If you are broke, behind schedule, or lost, that is good news, because you have an advantage. Time to act. Many start with money, but lose it along the way due to a lack. Oh, vision. You may not have capital, but you have the opportunity to develop the mindset that sustains any fortune. And that mindset manifests itself in daily habits: getting up early, organizing your day, studying, taking care of your health, planning, and executing. No matter your age, condition, or experience, what matters is the quality of those small actions repeated every day. Another point you need to understand is the importance of personal simplicity. Many people lose themselves trying to look rich before they are. They spend money they don't have to live a life they can't sustain. This creates a cycle of stress, anxiety, and debt that paralyzes the ability to build real wealth. I have always lived simply, even when I accumulated great wealth. This does not mean living in deprivation, but rather with intelligence. Be generous in charity, yes, but frugal in your personal life. Save and reinvest before spending on luxury. Simplicity is a powerful tool for those who want to build solid wealth. Don't forget, the wealth that lasts is that which is built with social responsibility and a clear moral purpose. Your money should be a tool for generating positive impact, not just for accumulating assets. This vision elevates you and transforms your journey into something greater than yourself. As you move forward, take care of your reputation with zeal. It is one of your greatest invisible assets. In negotiations, business, relationships, your word should be worth more than any contract. Build trust, be honest, and maintain integrity, even when it is easier to take shortcuts. And above all, surround yourself with people who are better than you. Your network determines your altitude. If you want to go far, you need to surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking, broaden your vision, and stimulate your growth. Never underestimate the power of good influences in your life. Before we move on, I want you to reflect. What habits are you cultivating today? Are they bringing you closer to your first million or further away from it? Are you ready to eliminate what limits you and strengthen what drives you? Comment below. I cultivate habits of wealth. This commitment is what will transform your life. Now that you have made a commitment to cultivate habits of wealth, let's delve deeper into the importance of financial discipline and smart investing pillars that support not only your first million, but your entire future fortune. From an early age, I learned that money doesn't grow on trees. It is the direct result of work, discipline, and strategic reinvestment. The most powerful habit you can develop is to save before you spend. I used to call this pay yourself first. Before paying bills, before thinking about leisure, you need to set aside a portion of what you earn to reinvest in yourself, your business, and your future. And this isn't abstract advice, it's a daily practice that starts with the small details. Control your spending, track every penny that comes in and goes out, create a strict budget, and adjust it regularly. Many people fail because they live under the illusion that money is infinite, but it's not. It's finite and must be managed. As such, in addition, to earn your first million, you need to learn how to invest. And I'm not just talking about the stock market or real estate. Investment is any application that generates a return greater than what you would get if you simply kept the money in savings. It can be education, tools for your business, strategic partnerships, or even time spent developing a new skill. I have always reinvested my business profits to expand production capacity, increase efficiency, and conquer new markets. This mindset of constant reinvestment is what separates the average entrepreneur from the tycoon. You need to think of your money as a seed that needs to be watered to grow. But investing also requires risk management. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and hope for the best. Diversify your investments, understand what you are doing, seek knowledge and qualified advice. Sustainable wealth is built on calculated decisions, not bets. Another fundamental principle that has guided my life and my business is simplicity in management. Unnecessary complexity leads to wasted resources, confusion, and mistakes. Learn to operate with maximum efficiency, eliminate what does not add value, and focus on what really matters. This simplicity brings clarity, agility, and decision-making, power essential factors for anyone seeking their first million. You must also understand the power of perseverance in times of crisis. No journey to wealth is linear. There will be moments of decline, doubt, and apparent defeat. What distinguishes those who prosper is the ability to see crisis as an opportunity, to adapt quickly, and to keep moving forward despite adversity. When the economy fluctuated and the oil market faced challenges, I didn't back down. I reassessed, adjusted, and moved on. That's not stubbornness, it's practical wisdom. True financial strength lies in being resilient, in staying focused even when everything seems to be conspiring against you. Finally, don't underestimate the power of strategic philanthropy. Wealth that lasts generates positive impact, investing in the well-being of your community, supporting important causes, and transforming capital into social change not only multiplies your influence, but creates a virtuous cycle of prosperity. This is the final step in consolidating your solid wealth mindset, being responsible, ethical, and generous with what you have built. This is how your million stops being a cold number and becomes a legacy, a story, a transformation. Answer me. In all honesty, are you ready to manage your money wisely, invest courageously, and persevere through difficulties? Comment below. I am the guardian of my wealth. Now that you have absorbed the fundamentals of emotional discipline, strategic patience, and the gradual building of your capital, let's move on to an absolutely crucial element for your first million to not only appear, but grow and remain: rigorous management, data-driven decisions, and the ability to continually adapt. You may have a big dream, a lot of desire, and even a brilliant idea, but none of that will get you very far if you don't have absolute control over the numbers in your life and your business. I learned early on that financial success is a science before it is an art. It's an equation that must be constantly monitored, recalculated, and optimized. Imagine that your business or your path to your first million is like a ship crossing the ocean. The compass and map are the data you collect: revenue, costs, margins, customers, suppliers, competitors, market trends. If you sail in the dark, relying only on intuition and luck, the chance of sinking is enormous. But if you have accurate instruments, you can adjust your course and anticipate storms. That was the principle that guided me when I created Standard Oil. I didn't get carried away by fads or the excitement of the moment. Every decision was made based on real numbers, detailed reports, and thorough analysis. If a project didn't show results, I didn't hesitate to adjust. correct, or even give it up. And here's the truth that few people want to hear. Intuition doesn't pay the bills, data does. Of course, intuition is important, comes from experience and deep knowledge. But decisions without a solid foundation are like gambling. Sustainable wealth is not a game of chance, it's disciplined management. You need to develop a close relationship with the numbers in your life. This means knowing exactly how much comes in, how much goes out, what your fixed and variable expenses are, where you can cut costs, and where you should invest more. Create a cash flow statement. Monitor your assets. Track your progress month by month. And, far beyond personal financial control. If you are building a business, you must structure measurement systems for everything: sales, customer satisfaction, operational efficiency, deadlines, quality. This rigorous management is what will allow you to scale safely. But it's not enough to have the data. You need to act on it quickly. Stagnant information does not generate value. It only generates anxiety. Decide quickly, execute quickly, correct quickly. This cycle of continuous improvement is what will make your money grow and your business thrive. Adaptability is another essential part of this mechanism. The world is constantly changing. Technological, economic, and behavioral changes happen every day. Those who insist on always doing the same thing, in the same way, get left behind. I have faced several crises during my career, from relentless competitors to drastic changes in the oil market. The secret to continuing to grow has been my ability to reinvent myself, adjust strategies, and seek new paths. This requires humility to recognize mistakes and courage to change. It takes detachment to let go of old practices that no longer work, and vision to invest in innovation and continuous learning. If you are starting from scratch or trying to overcome difficulties, know that this flexibility is one of your greatest assets. Never stick to rigid formulas, but also don't fall into the trap of wanting to do everything at once. Find the balance between planning and adaptation. Now, I want you to reflect. How has your relationship with change been? Do you run away or face it? Do you prepare or react too late? Wealth is for those who master the art of anticipating and adapting, not for those who live stuck in the past. Speaking of people, no one builds an empire alone. It is vital that you value and manage your team well. People who are aligned with your vision, committed and competent, are wealth multipliers. I have always prioritized the employees who worked with me, not just as labor, but as partners. I invested in training, encouraged personal and professional growth, and recognized effort. This created a strong culture that sustained the company's growth, even in turbulent times. If you want to grow, take care of the people who are part of your journey. Create an environment where they feel valued and motivated to deliver their best. This is not just fair, it is smart strategy. But leadership isn't just about being nice. It's about discipline and clarity. You need to set clear goals, delegate responsibilities, and hold people accountable for results. Transparency is key. Show your team where you want to go, what you expect, and how each person contributes to the whole. This creates a sense of purpose and commitment that drives the business and your wealth. And finally, I want you to absorb one of the greatest lessons of my life: the moral mission of wealth. True wealth is not accumulated for selfishness or ostentation. It exists to make a positive impact, to transform lives, to build legacies. I have always viewed my money as a tool to help people, develop communities, and support causes that make a difference. This vision has not only elevated my purpose, but also given deep meaning to everything I have built. Do you want your first million? Then think beyond money. Think about what it can do for you and the world. The legacy you leave behind is far more important than your bank balance. And lasting prosperity is accompanied by social responsibility and strategic generosity. Before we wrap up this section, ask yourself, are you ready to manage your life and business with rigor, act based on data, and adapt to change with wisdom? Are you willing to lead your team with strength and heart? Are you committed to a mission greater than money? If the answer is yes, write it now in the comments. I lead with purpose and discipline. This is the mantra that will guide you to true wealth. We have reached the decisive moment in our conversation, the conclusion that is not the end, but the starting point for the true transformation of your financial, emotional, and spiritual life. You already know that the path to your first million is not easy. It is not fast, and it is not guaranteed for those who are not willing to pay the price. But you also know that it is possible, that it begins with mastering your emotions, daily discipline, intelligent simplicity, and a long-term vision, that it is built with rigorous management, data-driven decisions, constant adaptation, and humane and ethical leadership. But here's the last lesson I want to leave you with. True wealth begins and ends with your commitment to yourself. There is no mentor, method, or formula that can replace the power of your firm decision. Your persistence when no one is watching, your love for what you do, even when the rewards are slow in coming. The wealth that remains is the fruit of responsibility, quiet work, and the integrity you cultivate within your heart. You will be tested. You will want to give up. You will feel fear, anxiety, doubt. But when those moments come, remember why you started. Remember that the world rewards those who don't bow down, who pick up one brick at a time, who build empires of patience and sweat. And most of all, remember that wealth is not just about money. It is an expression of your power to transform yourself and the world around you. Now, I want you to make a commitment to me and to yourself. Starting today, you will no longer be a spectator of your financial life. You will be the protagonist, the mentor of your destiny, the architect of your future. If you feel this calling, don't stay silent. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Sign up to continue this journey with us, because the path to wealth is collective. It is strengthened by those who decide to act and grow together. I will be here, just as you must be for yourself, to ensure that this promise of change becomes a reality. Close your eyes now, take a deep breath, and say with me, I am capable, I am disciplined, I am rich in purpose and action. I build my empire with faith and courage. May these words be your shield and your sword. True wealth is yours. Get it with all your strength. Until we meet again.